Good morning. I don't like how my voice sounds after I brush my teeth and first wake up in the morning. It sounds heavy to me. Guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Eccentric RockStar'Seed, and I was doing my own reading to keep myself on the up and up. And the energy I got is a person or woman who's very heavy hearted because she wants to make sure all her efforts are good enough. You want to make sure you're not working yourself to the extent where you're mentally taking yourself down or physically taking yourself down, and it causes emotional trauma or some kind of hypertension or some kind of stress. You're looking for a stress reliever. Keep in mind, take what resonates, leave what does not. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This reading. I just flipped cards over. I got the King of Cups, but I have the message with the King of Cups is and I use crystals too, like because all of them carry different energies. Plus, they're really pretty to look at. So you got Rainbow Obsidian. That's talking about hope, depth, and evolution. So within the darkness, there is always light. And and with this crystal, that dark exterior is exposed in light. The colorful bands and the highlight, it highlights the stone's beauty. But this is about gentleness. This is a gentle stone, so it's showing you unhealed matters of the heart and bringing hidden wounds to the surface for ultimate healing. And it takes you on a journey of evolution, of opening your heart and discovering your true purpose in this life, and is able to assist in like cutting cords. And if it's about love and light, so forgiving, it's about forgiving yourself and others through your process of your spiritual evolution. You could have Libra and Saturn. That's my King of Cups. But the psychological question I asked was, who or what am I beneath all my roles? We all have different hats. You could be a parent, an entrepreneur, career oriented, family oriented, husband or wife. You're a sibling to somebody. Who are you? What kind of friend are you? Who are you beneath all these accountabilities, so to speak? And it kind of is going to give me the answer. And then the other question was, what does happiness means? Ew. I apologize, y'all. I almost, you know how you belch, you almost throw up? Sorry. What does happiness mean to me? Then I got the Ten of Swords in reverse. And the crystal I use for that is that blue lace agate. That's about peace, gentleness, and new beginnings. This is about support. It's a supporting nudge in the right direction, whispering words of encouragement when you experience self-doubt. It opens your throat chakra and helps ease any blockages in your self-expression. Being seen and heard is a priority. Don't forget that. Your feelings are valid and it's important too. So don't worry about what others will think. Release all fear of judgment and get ready to leave any thoughts of inadequacy behind. You're encouraged to start anew because every day is a fresh beginning. You can have Gemini or Pisces in your Mercury. And then lastly, I got my King of Wands. And the stone with that is red jade. That's about being a warrior, individuality, and chi. You need to unleash your inner warrior. Red jade is a stone of power and is able to release anger in constructive ways that solves problems, filled with chi, known as the life force in the Chinese culture. It enhances passion, vitality, and strength. So when you take action and move decisively, it enhances your courage and protecting and inspiring you as you move forward in your day-to-day life. So this stone it comes in handy when you're looking to have exponential result, whether it's with your finances, your business, or with your physical health. You can have your Venus could be in Aries as well, and then I got so I used my positive affirmation cards to answer who or what am I beneath all my roles. And I got the solar feminine. Now, the solar feminine is somebody who is passionate, much like this Queen of Wands. I'm sorry, this King of Wands. This is my feminine deck, my feminine entrepreneur deck, but it could be for a man too. So much of being a solar feminist, so to speak, is to be strong, creative, passionate, receptive. You're focused. You're vibrant. You're glowing with good health. You radiate with self confidence. That's a solar feminine. You conquer things when faced with challenges. You have that ability, you have that strength to overcome a lot of different challenges on your path to emotional and financial freedom. Keep going and be unstoppable. Guys, I had to cry yesterday. I'm not going to lie to you. I had to release. But one thing, I used to be one of those women sometimes when you are a stronger or independent woman, you tend to operate in your masculine energy, and that's what I think the King of Cups and the King of Wands is here for women who are like that, or even for a man. But sometimes when you feel like you're failing at something or feel like things are kind of faulty and you're relying on your own creative way, like you push for things to be right even if others don't really see your vision or recognize your vision, and sometimes it can leave you feeling like you're not doing enough, and it can cause pressure, and that's bad on your mental and on your emotional health. It does a number on you, and if you're not careful, it tends to build up, and then you need to cry at that point. But once I start crying, I couldn't stop. Must have cried for like 40 minutes. That doesn't sound like a long time, but when you're heavily crying for 40 minutes, you release a lot of pressure off your chest, off your sinuses, off your mental, off your shoulders, off your body, off your spirit. It just makes me understand how people develop heart diseases. You're holding a lot of stuff in, not because you want to act like it don't hurt, just because you're just trying to be strong about a lot of different things. Then you got brainstorm. Keep fresh ideas flowing for your business. If you feel stuck, take some quiet time with your journal and write down everything that comes. That was on top of that solar feminine. So maybe you can create a journal or write something professional and sell and off extend your lighthearted energy through people through a creative project. I feel like it is calling to write something, not just for yourself but for others too. But I feel like the beginning phases of it more so is for you to write something or create something for yourself that's gonna keep you balanced through all while you're juggling so many different responsibilities. And then you got, I like this card because I always have feathers. You see what I'm saying? I keep a lot of feathers. And then the universe. The card says the universe, but for a person like me personally, I say God, because that's who I think the universe is referred. The universe to me would be God, and it powerfully responds the instant I realign with love. And then you have spiritual alignment. It puts my manifestations in motion. Heavy prayer warrior. My chest was so tight. I thought I was having hypertension, or I got real scared, like I was gonna have a heart attack. That's what it felt like, because I had those sharp aches shooting through my heart yesterday, and I was crying a lot, but I was very scared. I remember feeling terrified, because I didn't know what was going to happen to me. Eternal student. You know, I make these projects, these videos, these creative endeavors because there's a gift behind reading these messages. They come out very dramatic. Look at the last Pisces reading. I cussed a lot in that video. Some of the other readings, sometimes it comes out raw like that, but the message still implies, you know, and you have to have that strength when you're facing your own personal challenges. And this card talks a lot about emotional freedom, financial freedom as well. I got the Tower card for what all this means. You know, that faulty tearing down what wasn't built right. Maybe, you know, doing business with the wrong people. Only to have the Ace of Pentacles. You know, when you're afflicted with trials, to me, it was a test from God. It was very challenging, though. You know, it's safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. So, again, Dr. Khadijah, okay? Someone had to prescribe Dr. Khadijah with a remedy of her own. Someone had to perform Reiki on the doctor herself. Just because you can do these things for other people doesn't mean from time to time you don't have to you need to have it done yourself. Okay? And then you have wedding. The situation involves marriage. To me, that's on top of the Ace of Pentacles. That's an opportunity for long-term commitment. I'm not necessarily talking about a romantic partner. Even it could apply for somebody, but what I feel like is whatever the faulty foundation or just doing business or bad business with people and how it kind of caused your situation to attempt to unravel, you know, and the effect it had on the person. I feel like this wedding card it's an opportunity or an ease that came out of that. I always talk about the Quran because I that's my religion. Okay? I don't do the voodoo stuff. I don't disrespect anybody who do what they do, but I don't do that. So the Ace of Pentacles is long-term. That's a second opportunity. And this is an opportunity for a longer-term commitment. So with the solar feminine, it's like you and all your strengths and characteristic traits and abilities, you may have felt like you wasn't doing enough. But you actually as it turns out, you end up doing very well, you know, but it didn't come without pain. You know, it is something you healed yourself. It's like for the first time in maybe a long time, probably longer than you want to admit. Your heart space is you released a lot of emotional trauma that was trapped in your heart that would have caused hypertension or some kind of heart problem that could have eventually led to fatal experiences. Being a brainstormer, having that card on top of the solar feminine is talking about that creative focus, that vibrant energy. And it does talk a lot about keeping your vibrations high. You know, it does talk about opening your heart. It's like figuring out where you blocked off at. And it does talk about, you know, this energy integrates both the heart and your sacral chakra. You know, your colors of like your pinks, your oranges. That talks about your it corresponds to that higher heart and what do I want to say? Because so much of this is talking about myself, you know, it takes bravery to talk about yourself. People might think, you know, when you read these messages, some of it has to do with you. Some of it may or may not. But when I'm reading a message for somebody, I don't even know what I'm talking about until I go back and replay the video. It's like the best way I can describe it for anybody who's listening is like Beyonce has a alter name for herself. She calls herself Sasha Fierce. When she's on stage, she's a different person. She don't even realize what's going on until after the fact. It feels similar to that. And it's like, it's not about reading cards or reading in it or just being intuitive. It's what being intuitive allows you to do. Like being able to practice a strong third eye, extraordinary talent like that. I feel like I can do anything. It's a platform. YouTube is a platform to do that, but I can also do it in person. It's a very different experience in person, but with anybody who has any kind of talent. It's like, it's not like on the movie Blades of Glory, when he was going on a date with the sister that was being treated real mean. She was like, well, ice blows. She was speaking from a place of hurt because her brother and sister always blamed her for their parents passing away. But speaking with Jimmy McElroy, that was the guy's name, the one with the blonde hair, he was like, it's not about the ice, it's what the ice lets you do. When I'm out there on my skates, I feel like I can do anything. That's the feeling I get when I read these cards. Like, to somebody who don't understand it, it just look like you're throwing a bunch of cards down and just saying stuff. But it is a talent. It is a talent, and talent doesn't mean anything without work ethic. It has to be consistency. So it's like, to feel overwhelmed or feel stressed, or when you go through challenges in your everyday life, when you are establishing both financial freedom as well as emotional freedom, this isn't talking about the financial freedom aspect per se, but this is creative. This is a creative way to vent and to give advice and to show up for everybody. It's over 7 billion people in the world. Anybody can take something from this message and it can make a world of difference. They could be looking for answers or looking for counsel, and God could lead them to somebody's reading or somebody's channel, and they get exactly what they need, or they hear something and it points them into the right direction. You could be a person who has a lot of, again, with the sacral chakra, garnet is also a good stone for that, because it is a stone of sexual healing. It's about life force and intensity, but it's also a stone of love, passion, and devotion. It removes a lot of blockages to the desires of the heart. And it teaches you about stepping into your sexual power, which would be your sacral chakra, your creative energy. And it talks about embracing your body, removing all judgments that stand in the way of you and your pleasure. Tantric sex is healthy when used responsibly. You know what I mean? So it heightens the experience. It attracts partners that help heal sexual trauma as well. So whether you by yourself or you're friends with somebody, it helps identify and illuminate self-sabotaging behaviors and expanding your connection to your own mind, body, and spirit. This is for people who have like Virgo and Mars, or Capricorn, Aquarius, Leo in your Mars sector. How do you, I talk a lot about the solar planets. If people, they don't make sense to everybody, look up your birth chart. Everybody's birth chart is unique. Okay, you go to the replica site that I go to is astrosofa.com. It's free. It asks you for your birthday, if you know the time that you were born, and a city and state or country you were born in, and it will tell you your birth chart. It will tell you what your sun, not just your sun sign, your moon. Your moon represents your emotions. Mercury represents your communication. Ascendant sign is your rising sign, which is how you show up, what people's perception of you is. And then your Venus is your love language, how you show up in your romantic connections. Your Mars is how you take action on anything. Jupiter is your money. Saturn is karma. Uranus talks about radical change. Stuff like that. Pluto is death and transformation, is alchemist energy. Each unique planet has a different sign in it for each unique person. And then your 12 houses is all 12 signs. That's nothing different from, it starts from Aries and extends all the way through Pisces. So your first house would be Aries, would represent Aries. So if you look at the 12 houses and you look at, say, your first house is in, mine is in Capricorn. Okay? You got to realize your first house, Aries energy, is Fool's energy. So to know what Aries energy embodies, it'll help you explain why a particular sign is in your first house and how that resonates with you. Your second house, Taurus, it goes in the chronological order of all the zodiac signs. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, and then Pisces. So like if your eighth house, that would be Scorpio, say it's in Virgo. You embrace healthy partner, healthy. That's more of a health conscious way of approaching life. It means you're very responsible. It also means like sexually, you are not a person, you're not a whoremonger with everybody, but more so a whoremonger with the person you're going to love. You see the difference? That kind of thing. It doesn't mean the intensity is any different. It just means you practice safe sex. For example, just for an example. This energy, what I get from this energy also is about keeping your vibration high. I think I mentioned that before. Raise your vibration and attract opportunities when you love your life and enjoy each day to the fullest. It's like just because you having a trial or that rough transitional experience, it doesn't mean that you don't love your life. It doesn't mean that you have to change what you're doing. When I'm grateful for what I have, I can feel good along the way to what I desire. And it does call you to have trust. The situation is calling you to have trust. So you're balancing, again, with the solar feminine. That's from my French deck. And then you have the eternal student on the other side with conquer. But what I'm getting, let me put all this together. You got the Tower card to further amplify the solar feminine. So you're tearing down what didn't work, what's causing you stress. You and all your creative abilities. It's like, okay, that didn't play out right. Let me fix it. It is safe for you to love. Keep your heart open. Whatever the experience was, whatever the trial was, challenged you to heal your emotional health. Okay, and now you got to restore that hope, that evolution, new beginnings. To clarify that, like to do all of that, you also have Ace of Pentacles that went with the Eternal Student. This is long-term success, long-term stability, and the wedding card, long-term commitment. It's an opportunity. To do that is to, like some people focus on their finances, the emotional health could be blocking it. That's what I'm getting out of it. And you have that creative way of conquering it, even if it damn near felt like it killed you to do it with that spiritual alignment. Like you could be real heavy into praying, but you also have to communicate with people too. Like you could be into therapy. Obviously, I'm a person who embraces strong mental health. It's very important. You want to make sure that your life experiences is not breaking you down to the point where you need a break. You're on a break, so you don't mentally break. But it don't come without balance. That's what I get from this. The balance. This is a lot of a solar feminine woman is she's very creative, she's very strong, but she also shows up in her masculine energy a lot. That's why the King of Wands is here and the King of Cups is here. That's create fire and water is creative energy too. It has the ability to create and destroy. So if you're not careful, the Ten of Swords is in reverse. Because mental health, again, it starts with mental health. That aligns with your emotional health and every other. Basically, if your mind isn't right, everything is going to fall out of whack in your body. Nothing's going to function right because everything registers to your brain to function properly. And it's ironic because mental health is the most neglected health. Like a woman can go get a pap smear if she think anything is wrong. If she sense anything might be off in her in her sacral space, she'll go get 4 pap smears in a year. But don't establish checkups mentally. Why do people fear getting mental checkups? Like they fear the doctor saying, "Oh, you're crazy." That's stupid. That's the most important part of the whole process. Not the the sacral chakra, yeah, but if your mental health is not right, if your mind shuts down, that's like a person with dementia. You realize a person with dementia eventually dies from starvation. Why? Because everything in their mind shuts down. Every signal, like when you're hungry, you're nervous, something signals your brain to let you know, hey, you're hungry. It's time to go feed your body. Hey, you're tired. It's time to go lay down and take a nap. Or, hey, you got to go to the bathroom. Everything that you feel in your body registers to your brain first so you can respond. That's how it works. So a person with dementia, eventually their throat muscles weaken and it's everything in their body shuts down because it stops signaling to their brain, hey, you need to eat. They may feel hungry, but muscles over time start to shut down. You can't feed somebody food if they don't have the muscles to swallow it, to push it down their throat. That's important. We take for granted because we're too young to care about stuff like that. And I worked in the medical field. So I see a lot of that. I see the whole process. Somebody's dementia, how it could be aggressive. It could start off real minuscule and then progress real aggressively in 2 months. And the person is just sitting there, not talking, not eating. You can't feed them because you're going to kill them because they're going to choke. And they eventually die like that because they die of starvation. All right. So whatever happened, not just for me, but for people, whatever you're called to unleash your inner warrior, that release anger in constructive ways. There's better ways to get over things that didn't play right. You may have felt betrayed at one time, but this is about peace and gentleness. It's about being creative. How am I going to fix the problem without overwhelming myself or making the problem worse? But this also talks about your throat chakra, your ability to speak, communication. So this could be for somebody. So now you got mental health, sexual health, emotional health. It could have created a lot of addictions, or you could be conquering addictions. This video may help somebody conquer an addiction. But it's safe for you to open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. I think that's what you're going to do moving forward. Whether you have real friends in your life that help you through that and y'all support each other. Y'all support each other. It's not just on one person. But whatever the issue is in your personal life, I'm called to tell you got the Ace of Pentacles and everything you did was not for nothing. All your strong work ethic, all your efforts and your abilities, it wasn't for nothing. So don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. I'm glad I don't show myself on camera because my eyes are like real puffy right now because I needed to release personally. But the Ace of Pentacles here is you have an opportunity. You will have an opportunity to repair what might have become unaligned or broken for you. It's like trying to establish, I feel like you established a business savvy, some kind of business savvy for something you're talented in. I feel like that's what this is. But you got to realize people who do this, who get on a platform to help other people, whether privately or on a social media platform, they go through stuff because they have to continue their own healing, and it's also a life experience, so you know they're not hypocritical, and they know they speak, you know they're speaking from a heartfelt space. They have that life experience. Seven of Cups. Seven of Pentacles, balance of yin yang energy. You're grounding your creative projects. You planted those seeds and you're watching them come into fruition. The Tower is here twice. Okay? You tearing down what was an illusion or what didn't make sense. Just you. And she has her ballerina slippers here. She's passionate. She's creative. Like the Black Swan. Okay? She planted those seeds. And it tore down that faulty foundation. And that balance. Juggling act. Who are you? Beneath all them different roles. You know, it defines... I feel like it's your character. Who am I beneath all those roles? And the answer is the solar feminine. You know, you're a warrior underneath all those roles. You're somebody who has that ability to release anger in constructive ways that solves problems. You're very cultural, even religious, okay? Very spiritual, very passionate, very strong. You know, you exude a lot of self-confidence even if everything is falling apart or trying to unravel in your own personal space. You've always known yourself to be like that with the Six of Cups. Okay? You've always known yourself to be a studious person. But this card, like Eternal Student, is everlasting long term. But it doesn't mean you're avoiding accountability. You can't avoid accountability if you're the solar feminine. You dig what I'm saying? Like this somebody, like you might see somebody who has like 10 different degrees, but don't do nothing with them. It could mean that, but that's not the energy here. The Eternal Student for me with the surrounding cards is your commitment to what you say you're all about and your ability to conquer it and study it and practice it. It's like that Seven of Pentacles and Seven of Cups is studying, you know, what you feel in your heart, like what you know in your heart to be true. Especially with a King of Wands and a King of Cups is a fair, decent person. But a King of Wands is they all action takers, especially with the solar feminine. So you take your education and you apply everything you know to your everyday life. The Eight of Swords. That mental health is very important. Okay. The Moon is about secrets, peeling your intuition, peeling back those layers. Because to ask a question of who you are underneath all these different roles is no perpetration. You know, you have to do that shadow work every day. It's not the same velocity every day. Some days are better than others, but you have to do it every day. Strong work ethic. You're somebody who has strong work ethic. That's my hustler's card. That Eight of Pentacles is somebody who works and works and works. And I can see how you can become unaligned both mentally and emotionally, especially when you're working diligently. The Ace of Swords. Okay, that's truth and clarity. You got to practice what you preach to keep your mind clear, to be able to hear God when He's talking to you. Five of Cups, sadness. This does represent sadness. It can almost be depression. Not the big stuff where you got to take the medicine, but depression. Because you have hurt feelings about something. About starting over. Okay? Or taking a different approach in what you already established. If you have to start over, you're not starting over from scratch. You're starting over with knowledge, with experience. And I think that it kind of make you feel like you burnt out a little bit, to where you don't want to have to keep putting in all this work. You know what I mean? It's like you conquering demons in a way where you don't want to feel like you're putting in all this work to have to start all over again. Like all that was for nothing. But you got to make. But with thinking like that, and with the Eight of Pentacles and doing your shadow work, you building a super solid foundation. And the Tower card is here twice. Okay. And you got two aces. Two of Cups. Partnerships. I told you something with business. Something with doing business. The right kind of business with the right people. Something wasn't right with where you came from, but what you had to overcome. Four of Swords. Forced to call a truce. You had to call a truce. You had to take a break. So you don't go on a mental, because you have to go on a mental break. You have to mind your business. Especially, what is that? Two of Pentacles is here too. That Four of Swords is retreat. Is overcoming devastation. Is overcoming anything that threatens your emotional health, your emotional well-being. So what I'm getting at all of this is explaining how you have the strength to overcome a lot of different challenges. You're not perfect. You're not perfect by no means. Okay? This is why you go through stuff. Your discernment is better. You call it judgment, or God, or you stepped in. Next to that Four of Swords, it's like all this hard work I put in, God, I feel like somebody spit in my face. I don't feel like I'm good enough. You went to your prayers with that Eternal Student card and that Solar Feminine. It's like, I feel like my good nature is being taken advantage of. And God stepped in. See? You can't make this shit up. Three of Swords. You devastated. You're heartbroken. That's why you had that hypertension or sharp pains. Something I explained earlier about having sharp pains. I had to cry. That's why. I didn't know where initially I didn't know where all that was coming from. I had to peel back those layers. I had to really sit and ponder why I felt like that. Not everybody has the ability to do that, or even has the heart to do it, because they scared to learn what might be, if it's them. Is it something you did wrong? Like I said, we're not perfect. You interact with people all day long. Sometimes you have faults, sometimes you're not. But you play a part. You look at the parts you play. You have to look at the parts you play to be able to peel back layers. Okay, to be able to fix it. I'm a person who I don't want to sit in bad feelings all day. I just want to fix the problem. But I have to know what the problem is. So peeling back those layers. I say that to you, collective, to say you don't know what step to take. You know you feeling some type of way, but don't know where it's coming from. You don't know if it's somebody else's energy intertwined with yours. But you know you have knowledge. You're an eternal student. You know you're a creative, a passionate person. You'll brainstorm and study something until you get it right. And you'll keep working at something until you get it right. But at one point, are you hitting your head against a brick wall about something, to a point where you got to call it truce, because you can either be taken advantage of, or the foundation is not right, where you're carrying too much of the burden, or just doing business with the wrong people. So now you got to start over. Or when you start over or starting over because you're leaving off of what makes you feel inadequate. Like you're hot one minute, you're cold the next. When working with people, sometimes it could be a finicky situation. Two of Pentacles here. Sometimes people are just not as grounded as you, so they don't produce the same results as you. But you're in a partnership with them for something. Business, personal, whatever. The Two of Swords. Feelings of inadequacy. Indecisive. Just having somebody. It's a lot of cards. Like Two of Pentacles, Two of Swords, Two of Cups. The only card that's not here is Two of Wands. But you being you, you'll study something until you get it right. With the King of Swords here, that's a third. You almost an emperor, somebody, a woman who operates in her masculine energy. But you can also be setting an example for masculine figures like men. You're showing men where they can still grow, or I don't know. I don't quite know, collective. But that King of Swords is somebody who's wise and intelligent and no nonsense. They just cut out the nonsense. They just they just get to the root of the problem and deal with it accordingly. Seemingly, when I did that, I tapped into some emotional trauma. Like Reiki releases emotional trauma from your organs. For me, it was in my heart space. When it's in your heart space, it can break you down mentally if you're not careful. It tried to, at least. It took for me to start talking about the things that I was working on to really get to the root of the problem. You never gotta feel defeated. Don't feel defeated. That's the enemy. Because he see you building on something. And that King of Wands is like, you're so passionate, you almost didn't stop. You almost didn't stop fast enough. And it's not like running with no brakes, but you fight a lot. You assert yourself a lot. You take action quite a bit. Otherwise, you wouldn't have nothing to call your own. And I feel like so much of this is business, not personal. Maybe some of it could be personal, but most of it feels like business. But that was something I learned about myself. That's something I'm working through personally. And I thought I'd share it. Maybe somebody could benefit from something I said today. So what time is it? It's early in the morning. The first thing you want to do in the morning is say Allahu Akbar or Alhamdulillah, which is all praises due to God. Allahu Akbar is God is the greatest because he woke you up. He gave you a chance for a new beginning, a fresh new start with the Fool's card. So whatever you went to bed with, try not to go to bed with those heavy feelings. Release it. Pray on it before you fall asleep. Pray when you wake up. Like, give me a chance to start over today, to make a difference today, because I need it. I'm calling on your expertise, because me thinking it could be an issue where feeling like you're so independent, sometimes you can trip yourself up with thinking you're doing it all by yourself. Don't do that, because God has a way of afflicting trials on you to make you realize, no, you're not by yourself. And I'm going to make you feel like the way that you feel and make you feel pain about it, because it's going to make you come back to me. That's the point. It's not that you're abandoning our friendship. It's just I need you a little bit closer to me. It'll help you through all of this. I have a plan for you. Yeah, man. There's like a lot of heavy emotion on this board that needed to be let go of. You see this woman? Her heart is like bust out her chest. like that hypertension, if she has a black eye or something, you releasing it. It could be a father figure that induced a lot of this emotional trauma, and it can also be the catalyst to make you the woman who operates in her masculine energy. So you could not know what it felt like to have that balance, to have an actual masculine figure show up for you so you can be more receptive or be in that feminine role. That could be the emotional trauma that's blocked, that needed to be released so that you can move forward. So when you meet someone who is perfect for you, or a good match for you, you can receive it well. You can allow it to come in or not attract the same thing all over again. Sometimes the test is meeting someone who reminds you of certain characteristic traits, could remind you of what you've overcome or what you still need to work on. But so much of it, you've been through it already, so you recognize that person. So you're not you're wise though. With the kings here, that's wisdom. It's like I'm not trauma bonding with nobody, not with my workspace, not with my friends, not with nobody. So you could be teaching somebody how to heal their issues. Or you could finally just be forgiving your parents once and for all. Like, okay, I know where a lot of this came from, and I'm just going to deal with it. I'm just going to fix it once and for all for myself. And that's the tower twice over, because if you have emotional trauma from a parental figure or a father figure, because it's three kings here. So that's mental, emotional, and spiritual. Could have broke you down at one time. Or could be the reason why you come on so strong, or just an overachiever. You can be an overachiever, but so much of it you realize that being this overachiever is because I felt like I wasn't good enough, or was made to feel like I was doing everything wrong, when that was somebody else's unhealed issues being projected onto you. And with the Six of Cups here, that represents you could have been going through this since you were a kid. You could realize this was an issue that stems back to your childhood. So being an eternal student, I feel like that's your religion. And being a solar feminine, that's your strength. It's like you don't want to complain too much. It's like, I ain't tripping. Young Dolph song Black Queen, he's talking about his mother and all the stuff he went through with his parents. May he rest. But he also said it's hard to trip about it because it made me a star. So it made you who you are. And you don't want to curse out who you are, because you are quite the prestige in your own right. But it don't come with, you still got to heal that. It don't change the fact that it traumatized you, that there is some emotional trauma that's trapped and that was in your heart. That if you caught, it's like you broke a generational curse. You can come from a family who struggles with heart disease, who has heart disease, and you realize that that's going to be you too if you don't. Now that you see what the issue is with the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles, the reason your emotional or financial, like you putting in all the work, but it's not making sense, the results are not adding up to the work output that you're putting out there, is because you have to heal that trauma first. It's blocking you. It's going to cause hypertension or something. It's going to block you. So instead of perpetuating that cycle, I'm going to help you fix it. I'm going to break that generational curse. It stops with you. And that could be the two eases. I told you, sword number 65, ayats 2 and 3. With every difficulty comes two eases. So you put it all together, and you see that you have the ability. I taught you, I put you through that to give you those abilities. You're not just teaching it to the people, but you're gonna break the generational curses. So you have stronger health to have your stronger wealth. Because your emotional trauma ties it. Mental and emotional and mental is not far off. They tie together. So if you thinking a certain way, you're not thinking it for no reason. It's coming from a space. It's coming from how you feel or feelings that are trapped. I hope it makes sense. I'm trying to make sense out of what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying, but I hope it makes sense to whoever is going to sit here and listen to it. Because you've been working on this with the Eight of Pentacles. You was working on this for a long time. You almost at a 10. You have the Ace of Pentacles here. It starts with the Ace, with the opportunity. You're at an 8 of Pentacles right now. I don't have the King of Pentacles here, but I got the King of Swords, King of Cups, and King of Wands on my board, which the energy is after doing the work, it's a father figure. It's forgiving your father figure. Forgive him. He could have the issues that I just described. And you could be picking up on it. He may not be doing that great. This could be God telling you to reach out to him. But likewise, it's also teaching you learn from his mistakes and his parents' mistakes and their parents' mistakes, because they all seem to be going down the same path. Like it leads to the same ending, tragic, devastating ending. Emotional trauma trapped in the heart. Feelings of inadequacy. And that's the Tower. That's the big reveal. It's like you're going to have the pain of regret or, the pain of progress. The pain you seem to be feeling is the pain of progress. Don't think it's regret. That's an illusion. That is that you're not doing you're not doing enough or not doing it right. That's the Seven of Cups. You planting the seeds. You got this. You going from the Ace to the 2 Pentacles, 7, then the 8, and the swords. The Ace of Swords. Now you got the 2 of Swords, and that's that indecision, that feelings of inadequacy. And then you're going from the 2 to the 8. The 8 of Swords is negative thinking. But you're not doing it on purpose. That negative thinking is coming up because it's something that you feel. You feel some type of way. I'm sorry, the 4 of Swords was here too. So you went from the 2, the 4 to the 8. And then your King of Cups. Then you got your you don't have the Ace of Cups here, but you have the 2 of Cups, 5 of Cups, 6 of Cups. So your 2 of Cups is partnerships. It does talk about partnerships. It talks about soulmates. Soulmates is of any kind, business, personal, romance. Then you got the 5 of Cups. It's sadness surrounding the people you love. Why you always end up separating yourself from them. And with the 6 of Cups, you realize it stems from childhood. I'm sorry, y'all, but sometimes it takes a minute to really, when it's real life experience, it's not the easiest to just come on here and be like, bibbity bop 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 bop. Okay, there's your message. You gotta it's emotion attached to it, so you have to, sometimes you need to take the necessary time to peel it all back. 2, 5, 6, 7 of Cups. I feel like you're dismantling, you're annihilating all illusions. You peeling back, it's like you sift flour, you sifting out the negativity, the stuff that don't really serve you no purpose, all the illusions, the stuff you told yourself or was made to believe about yourself over the years. So this looks like a lot of progress. and it looks like you're conquering it. Okay? It looks like you got a good head on your shoulders with the brainstorm here. You keep fresh ideas flowing for yourself, even if you feel stuck. That's all right. That's what needs the most attention, whatever you stuck on. As long as you fix it. This is a very intense spiritual journey for you because you're going from the Fool to the Tower. It's like it skipped ahead or something. And then you have the Judgment. That's the discernment. That's calling judgment. Using wisdom. Somebody's going to benefit from this reading. I feel like a lot of people are going to benefit from this reading because things don't happen on accident. Okay? I came on here to tell you this because I want to see you deserve to have that clarity to be able to know where to start to keep up to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Well-rounded healthy lifestyle. Like, I'm not a person who hides behind anything. I tell the truth even when it's against myself. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.